So, a while ago, I saw the Kingdom Hearts announcement trailer and everybody's been talking about it, so it's my turn to talk about it. If you guys don't already know, I am a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. It's one of my favorite video game series of all time since I am a huge Disney fan. I love seeing all the Disney characters exploring the world like Alice in Wonderland, Aladdin, Frozen, Hercules, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and so much more. It was like every Disney fan's dream come true. And before they made this announcement, I pretty much knew they were going to make a fourth Kingdom Hearts game since they did explain that Kingdom Hearts 3 would be the last chapter of the Xehanort Saga, or the Dark Seeker Saga, and they're making a new saga called The Lost Master. It's very similar how Star Wars is doing, that they finished all 9 movies, which is called the Skywalker Saga, and they're making a new saga later for the Star Wars franchise. Now, before I talk about my initial thoughts on the Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement trailer, I might as well share my initial thoughts on the other trailers that were given to us for the announcement trailer, Dark Road and Missing Link. Oh, and just a little heads up, later in the video, I am going to give my prediction of what sort of Disney worlds I would like to see in this Kingdom Hearts video game. With the Dark World trailer, it's pretty much okay. It's basically supposed to be a tie-in to the events from Kingdom Hearts X or Kingdom Hearts Chi Union or whatever. It's basically explaining how Xehanort succumbed to the darkness, which made him the most powerful villain in the Kingdom Hearts series. And for the most part, it seems a bit interesting. I do like how they explain how Xehanort's been doing when he reached the Snow White's world, where he talks to the magic mirror. But other than that, I don't feel invested in buying the Dark Road game on mobile because Xehanort's origin seems self-explanatory with the other games. Another reason why I'm not buying Dark Road is that I did play Kingdom Hearts Chi, but I haven't finished the whole thing because I thought it was one of those mobile games that would never end. As for the other trailer, Missing Link, I thought this was the weakest of the announcements because this is basically another mobile Kingdom Hearts game, only this time it's just Kingdom Hearts meaning Pokemon Go. We do get some interesting cutscenes of the backgrounds of Daybreak Town and some of the Black Hooded characters, but I'm not seeing the big picture on what is the missing link to all this. What does this have to do with the events from Xehanort or Kingdom Hearts Chi, or the bigger events happening in the Lost Master arc? Now with Kingdom Hearts 4, they saved the best for last. They already announced after the events from Kingdom Hearts 3 they would make a new saga, and the way they present number 4, they did not disappoint us. I never felt so excited for a Kingdom Hearts game since Kingdom Hearts 3. So just to recap from the events from the third game, Sora did a forbidden act of abusing his power of the awakening to save Kairi's life, but in exchange, he would vanish from existence from his world, which led him to the final world. And because of his disappearance, all of his friends are trying to find him and figure out how to get him back. The only 2 clues we have about Sora's whereabouts is in Riku's dream and Kairi's memories. And they were later revealed from the Fairy Godmother and one of the stars from the final world that Sora may be in another alternative reality world called Quadratum. And in this world, from the events from the Remind game, Sora actually encounters a familiar character from the Toy Box world, Yozora. And if you guys recall from the events from the Toy Story world, Yozora is a video game character that only exists in a fictional video game. But when we see the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, we see that Sora in a realistic, artistic look. He wakes up from an apartment and meets this woman. And then he sees the entire city being destroyed by a giant Darkseid Heartless. And of course, he would run through the city carrying his keyblade with some new commands that we never seen from the other games. And while he's fighting the Heartless, we see 2 guys in hoods, possibly one of them being the Master of Masters, which is one of the characters from the Chi games. And after they show the title, it shows Donald and Goofy looking for someone who might know about Sora's whereabouts. So what is there to say about the Kingdom Hearts 4 teaser trailer? All I can say is, wow! Just wow! Now, they actually fooled me for a minute with this Kingdom Hearts trailer. I actually thought I was watching a behind-the-scenes look of Kingdom Hearts, like the making of the game, because the backgrounds of Quadratum look so realistic, from the buildings, the apartment, and so much more. And with the gameplay on Sora fighting the Heartless, it is incredible, and I also like the transformation of the monster. And ever since this breakout, everybody's been making predictions and theories on what's going to happen. Like, what sort of Disney World is going to return? Are there going to be some new Disney World? Or there may not be some new Disney World we might see, since when we see Quadratum, it didn't look like a Disney World. It looked so real. But it's still likely that we are still going to get some more Disney Worlds, whether they're old or new. But there were actually some two theories that stand out the most in the new trailer, and that is with Donald and Goofy, and this one scene that occurred during the teaser trailer before we introduced to Sora and Quadratum. With the scene with Donald and Goofy, they're trying to get help from someone to find Sora, and we see this blue flame, and then it eventually turns to fire, like normal fire, and everyone's been guessing they're getting help from Hades, from Hercules. So before the video game news breakout, I had the same prediction as everyone when they saw that blue flame with Donald and Goofy, and it actually makes a lot of sense on why they should bring Hades back for this Kingdom Hearts 4 world, since he is the Lord of the Underworld and he knows about the afterlife, so he would clearly know where would Sora be and how would they get there. And there's also this other prediction that people are thinking maybe Square Enix is finally ready to make a Star Wars world, and that is with this one scene with all the plants and rocks. A lot of people are arguing it's coming from the planet Endor from Star Wars Return of the Jedi, but for me, I'm not really jumping to that conclusion, honestly. Now, don't get me wrong, I would like to see a Star Wars world in this Kingdom Hearts video game, just as much as I want to see a Marvel world in Kingdom Hearts, but there's not enough evidence to prove that this really is a Star Wars world. That grass area or other natural elements could come from one area from Quadratum or even from another Disney world or original world like Hollow Bastion and Twilight Town. If there was a small Star Wars creature like an Ewok or even a mouse droid, I would totally believe they were coming from a Star Wars world. But as of now, I don't know if this one scene is coming from a Star Wars world or any other place. But the biggest significance, what makes Kingdom Hearts 4 stand out, is that they're exploring the idea of fictional worlds. Yes, this is supposed to be a Disney Universe video game where all Disney characters exist in one big universe, but I'm talking about universes that only exist in fiction or other realities, or better yet, a multiverse. Which is pretty weird since Kingdom Hearts is like the Roger Rabbit of video games. Since they're trying to explain that Yozora comes from a fictional video game called VRM Rex, there's a lot of ideas and concepts you can play around with this alternative reality. A good example would be Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. We all know that he exists as a toy in Toy Box, but you know there have been lots of interpretation of the Space Ranger from the Buzz Lightyear cartoon and the upcoming Lightyear movie. There's a lot of ways they can introduce a new version of this character while also staying consistent in Sora's universe. I can even think of some Disney worlds that can fit into this alternate reality universe. One of them would have to be Wreck-It Ralph since he exists as a video game character, and in the sequel, we see Vanellope interacting with the Disney princesses. And since not all the Disney princesses interact with each other, like we don't see the original 7 princesses interacting with Anna, Elsa, Tiana, Rapunzel, it would be crazy to see all the Disney princesses interact with each other again like they did in Ralph Breaks the Internet. But even if they don't use events from the second movie, they can still reenact the scenes from the first movie, with Sora game jumping from Felix Jr., Hero's Duty, and Sugar Rush. You would not only have to fight the Heartless and Cybugs, and even King Candy in his monster form, but you can actually play the respective games like Felix Jr., Sugar Rush, and more. But it's not just new or alternate worlds, they can still go back to the old worlds from the other games, like Scala A Catalum. Yensa did give Mickey a mission to go to that place, and it would be nice to see that world again. The Land of Departure would be a good training world so we can see Kairi train with Aqua and we can see more of the castle. Even Destiny Islands, it can give out more clues about Sora's whereabouts and even real missing links involving Roxas, Naminé, Ven, and more since they do share the connections with Sora and Kairi's heart. I also wouldn't mind going back to Arendelle again to reenact the events from the second movie. It was amazing to have Marshmallow as a party member, but it would be much more awesome to have Elsa by your side. And if you remember from the third game, they're hinting out there's going to be some new Princesses of Heart, like they hint out that Elsa and Rapunzel is one of them. They're pretty much saying all the original 7 Princesses of Heart, except Kairi, are giving their light and position to new Disney princesses. Which actually, the more I think about it, if they do put it in a Wreck-It Ralph world, wouldn't that make Vanellope one of the new Princesses of Heart? But going back to the alternate universe, there are still some Pixar worlds worth adapting, like WALL-E and The Incredibles. They could still utilize the environmental message from WALL-E by comparing life on Earth as the Earth's heart. And with The Incredibles, it would be crazy not to team up with Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible fighting against an Omnidroid. But if you're looking for a Disney world that embraces a multiverse, how about Robin Hood? And since Disney's Robin Hood is a world filled with talking animals, it would actually be interesting if Sora actually knows about Robin Hood before going on his big adventure, like he heard it in a story somewhere. But it's not just the animated movies and Star Wars, the other live-action movies can work out as well for this game. It would be cool to enter a Marvel world where you team up with the Avengers to fight Loki, but imagine if you enter the world of Enchanted. We all know it's a movie about fairy tale characters coming to the real world, specifically New York, and they pretty much poke fun of every fairy tale cliche. This movie has such a massive cult following. There's going to be a sequel on Disney Plus, and has been considered one of the best fairy tale spoof movies next to Shrek and Hoodwinked. And Enchanted already felt like an alternate reality world since they made fun of other Disney movies like Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and Bambi. I mean, come on, in Quadratum we see Sora face against a giant Darkseid Heartless, but if we do get an Enchanted world, how awesome would it be if we face against a dragon like we faced Maleficent in her dragon form? But again, this is just my prediction. We don't know what sort of worlds or how many worlds are going to appear in Kingdom Hearts 4, and we don't even know when it's going to come out or what sort of platform it's going to be on. We don't know if it's going to be on the PlayStation 4, or it's going to upgrade to PlayStation 5, or is it going to appear in the other consoles. Man, that was a lot of hype and predictions to give out. Then again, that's Kingdom Hearts for you. But what do you think of this announcement? Are you excited about Kingdom Hearts 4? And what sort of Disney worlds would you like to see in this upcoming game? Well, feel free to leave in comments below and share your predictions. I'm Matt Harrop Patrick, and remember, may your heart be your guiding key.